At the beginning of the show, I said that this weed is having a little bit of a resurgence lately. It's Cocklebur.
Well, you know, there's so many pre-emerge options being used now with some level of broadleaf control that many of us are kind of lulled into this false sense of security in that, well, I put a broadleaf herbicide out there. Well, Cocklebur is a lot different. It is a large seeded broadleaf. And if you look at Cocklebur, if you have some in your field, dig one up and see where that actually germinated from. I know on our farm, I've seen Cocklebur where we've done some tillage that have germinated from 6 inches deep. And all of a sudden you have this long shoot before the cotyledon leaves ever pop out of the ground. And you say, wow, how can that thing germinate from so deep? But it's a very large seed and it's got a lot of power to push up through the surface of the soil. So don't think putting a little pre-emerge herbicide on at the soil surface or mixed in the top inch, you aren't gonna get it if it's got enough power to come from 6 inches down and still make it. That's a tough weed.
All right, so let's talk about how we are going to get Cocklebur under control. Even though the pre's are not that good, there are still pre's that at least have a little bit of activity on Cocklebur. My best suggestion in corn is to run with Verdict. I really like Sharpen Down, but certainly Sure Start, Triple Flex, Balance Flex, they all do have some activity. Post-emerge, I personally like Status, but the HPPDs, things like Impact, Armazon, Callisto, Loudus, they're all good as well. And just throw a half pound or even a quarter pound of atrazine with any of those if you can to spike up your control. Oh, and by the way, Bucktril too is good on Cocklebur. We've got lots of options post-emerge as long as you use them.
All right, in soybeans, my favorite pre-emerge option is metribuzin. It doesn't have perfect control on these large seeded broadleaves, but it certainly has more activity than the other pre's that you're going to use. It's got more activity than a Valor or Authority does on Cocklebur. Now keep in mind, there's a lot more weeds you're going to be fighting out there. Chances are you'll use metribuzin in addition to Authority or Valor, and probably even some of the other products to try and control your pigweed and other weeds out there. But in terms of Cocklebur, I like the metribuzin. Post-emerge, I like First Rate. That's been the best product I've seen. Pursuit and Raptor aren't too bad either.
When we turn to wheat, you got Sharpen is the best pre, and then post-emerge, we would probably tell you go with Husky.
All right, our weed of the week is Cocklebur. It has made a resurgence across the country. Don't let it make a resurgence on your farm. You can certainly keep it under control. That's all the time we have for this week's Weed of the Week, but Iron Talk is coming up next.